Hello, everybody, and welcome back to week 51 of tracking our local shifting real estate market here in southern New Jersey, Burlington, Camden, Gloucester counties, 900,000 and below. We have 2 weeks left of the year. Today is week 51. Next week, we're going to do the final shift tracker of 2023. Congratulations, you've made it. So today will be a little quick because what I'm going to do here is just give you a little breakdown of our weekly stats as we do, but I'm going to give you my 5 predictions for what will happen to the real estate market in 2024. So, not to be all that surprising, I don't take a lot of stock in the last 2 weeks of the year. Why? Actually, since like Thanksgiving, I don't really take a whole lot of stock because it's a weird time of year. It's cold outside. There's 2 big holidays, 3 big holidays, 4 big holidays. If you count, Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's, everything. So it's hard to take an exact stance on the real estate market when everybody has other things to do. So not surprising, our new listings were down to 217 from 255 last week. Our under contracts were right about the same at 227, 224 from last week. But our closed were a little bit higher at 309. That's not surprising because everybody's trying to get their closings in before the end of the year. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if we saw this week as the highest closing week for the rest of the year. Next week will probably be still high. I doubt it'll be as high as this one because a lot of people don't schedule their settlements between Christmas and New Year's because staff are off, processes are off, a lot of offices are running half-mast, and if something goes wrong, you could have a delay that could push you days, not a day. So I'm not all that surprised. I'm not expecting to see these jump up, and I'm not really alarmed by it. Our expireds, withdrawn, and canceled. This I think we will see high. Next week, the expired, the withdrawn, and canceled listings, those are the listings that didn't sell for one reason or another. They're going to potentially take the listing down, give it like a refurbishment period. If you pull it down for more than about 30 days, when you put it back up, it'll actually show as a new listing instead of showing up as like an extension of an old listing sort of thing. So there might be a lot of that. Price reductions, we still will probably see this hovering around the 100 mark. Some people may decide right at the end of the year, a little discount to the property, see if we can give it a little jump start heading into the new year. But days on market, these will continue to go up. They went up again. They went up big. They went up 2 full days just since last week. I mean, to get 2 full days of an average and a median days on market in a week across 1,480 listings, that means stuff sitting. And it's because, we had a lot of these properties that there just aren't as many selling. And so you have more that are sitting. And I think that all makes, a lot of sense. Median list price, though, we're still at 340. We're still hanging here. So let's jump into these predictions. Because again, stats are stats for this week. Nothing, I think, groundbreaking. I think some expected trends that we would expect in these last 2 weeks of the year. But here's my 5 predictions for you as we go into the last week of the year. First, buyers are going to win until the first significant rate drop. Buyers will win until the first significant rate drop. Right now, buyers are having a kind of unexpected happy time in the market right now. For the buyers that are hanging in right now, we've seen a pretty good interest rate drop compared to where they've been for the last 6 to 8 weeks. There's still a good amount of inventory. There's almost no one out shopping right now. So buyers, you are winning at the moment. But we know that maybe around the end of Q1, end of February, near March, maybe even touching into April, they will be doing rate drops. Now, we had been talking a lot during the year that they were doing these rate drops to kind of spur consumer spending and a lot of that. And that's true. But let me tell you why the interest rate drop has to happen and not should happen. There have been a lot of loans taken out by banks from other banks. Don't need to get into the entire fractional banking system and how all that works. But there are a lot of these loans that are coming up due. And if they do not reduce these interest rates, there's going to be like hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars that potentially could go into default. And so they kind of need to do this interest rate drop in order to save that loan to loan from through the banking sector. So that we will see. That's just got to happen. There's just a simple mathematical equation that's going to have to be balanced here at a certain point with the big banks, and that will trickle down to our consumer interest rate. So that's fine. Number 2, median list price will end up over $350,000 by June. So we've been hanging, and is it this one? No. Is it this one? Yes. So our prices, we know since June, have pretty much been the same. A little bit of month-to-month fluctuation here and there at these last couple, but for the most part, we've been at 340 since June. Because of that interest rate drop that we're going to have happen in March, and probably another one before June, That's going to put an upward pressure on prices. It's going to put a pressure on buyers to enter the market. And I believe that median list price will end up over 350,000 by June. So that's prediction number 2. Number 3, there will be more homes sold in 2024 than there were in 2023. These interest rate drops are going to have an effect on one very specific target audience. There are a lot of you that own your homes that have an interest rate under 4.5%, and you want to move, but you're recognizing that trading that 2 to 4% interest rate for a 7 to 7.5% interest rate doesn't make sense. But with every kind of half a point that when it comes down from 7 to 6.5 to 6, maybe even to 5.5, every time we make one of those chunks, it's going to take an entire group of people and push them over to say, okay, I'm ready to sell. It's time. I'm willing to give up my low interest rate because I'm going to get a medianly high interest rate instead of a very high interest rate. So I really think that there will be more homes sold in 2024 than there were in 2023. Okay. Now, number 4, and this is a little outside of the scope of our statistical attention, I guess. Actually, these last 2 are sort of different. In 2024, there will be alternative buyer agency compensation that will enter our market. This is following the big court case that has been happening in the entire real estate industry across the country, and that will continue to gain steam, gain traction, whatever, but it will also have some curbs and some checks and balances as it goes through too. Not everywhere will adopt this immediately, but expect to see that in 2024, if you are going to be selling your home, have a conversation with your listing agent about how are we going to compensate the buyer's agent. Now, you may decide with your agent that you would like to stay with a more traditional compensation model in order to market your home properly. You may decide that you want to give a slightly tiered version of what you're going to give a buyer agency compensation. Just start to be aware of the different ways that you can market your property and not immediately having to pay the entire buyer agency compensation. Recognize, though, that for every dollar you're not going to compensate your buyer's agent, you're also going to limit the amount of buyers who are going to buy from you. There's a lot of buyers who have their best friend, their mom, somebody else as their agent, and they're going to look at properties and say, well, hey, I like 3 properties. These 2 are offering a 2.5% to 3% buyer agency compensation, and this one is offering $500. They're not going to show your home. Unfortunately, I don't believe that should be true. I believe that no matter if the home is right for the buyer, then you should show it regardless of what the compensation structure is. But we also know that's just not going to be true for everyone. It's just not going to be. So recognize that as you pull back on that buyer agency compensation that you're willing to give, you will keep a couple dollars in your pocket, maybe, but the exposure that you're going to have for your listing will be lower. So just be ready to balance that trade-off for yourself. Number 5. 2024, I will be buying an investment property. I have made a goal. I am 32 years old now. By the age of 45, my goal is to own 100 doors. I want to own 100 investment properties, whether through syndication with other people, whether entirely by myself, whether I do it in sort of a multifamily capacity. All of that's on the table. But I have been doing real estate for 9 years. I got into real estate in order to buy investment properties. But, as a younger guy in a sales field, I really had to earn my stripes and make up some income and put some savings together. I moved through life, get engaged, buy a house, get a dog. Now we're ready to kind of start the wealth building path. So I would say for anybody else interested in purchasing an investment property this year, start to get some cash flow to help offset some of your job income, maybe even have the ability to come out of your job or go to part-time in order to facilitate real estate and passive income in order to supplant that. But that's my goal. That's what I'm going to be working on. So in 2024, I will probably also be bringing some information to you around investing and around how you can get into real estate investing without a whole lot of money. I feel like I sound like an infomercial here. When I say get into real estate without having any money, I just mean have the ability to find and locate deals and able to put them together and then have other people give you money to purchase that so that they get a return on their investment and you can end up with the equity in the property. That's going to be one of the strategies we employ. So once again, 5 predictions. Buyers will win until the first significant rate drop. The median list price will be over $350,000 by June. There will be more homes sold in 2024 than there were in 2023. Alternative buyer agency is going to be coming to our market soon. And number 5, I will be purchasing an investment property. I hope that in week 51 of next year, we can chat about this and let's see if some of our predictions came true. Obviously, the one for June, we're going to have to check in June, but we're going to check back and see if all of these are right. If you have any predictions for the 2024 real estate market, give me a text. I'd love to hear them. Other than that, guys, we have one more week left. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope everybody had a good Hanukkah that just wrapped up. But other than that, I'm looking to spend some time with the family. But anyway, I appreciate everybody being along for the ride for week 51 of the Shift Tracker, and I'll talk to you soon.